Get in, loser.
Back for another video that we're doing in the AC/DC voice! Wow! Yeah!
Moral relativists in Mean Girls. So my little brother Squid Game, he one day he's like, Josh, you gotta come see this movie. And he sits me down, he's like, it's called Mean Girls. And I'm like, Sam, I'm a 20-year-old male. I don't need a rom-com in my life. Oh my goodness. Then he sits me down on the couch. You idiot! And I watch one of the single greatest movies of all time, maybe even the greatest comedy of all time, Mean Girls. A story about a bunch of dumb white girls who all are like petty about their stupid cream and their dumb eyeliner, and it's stupid and they hate each other, and it's a perfect embodiment of the real problem in our world. It's not boys versus girls, it's really how mean girls are to other girls. Anyway, I digress and I'm probably full of crap. But anyway, greatest movie of all time. And now it turns out that they're making a remake of Mean Girls. And so Squid Game and we went to go see the remake of Mean Girls in the theater. And I kid you not, we get 15 minutes in, and we're 15 minutes in before we realize that this is a musical. I don't even know if you guys knew that from just the trailers, but yeah, the remake is a musical. The whole movie really isn't bad, but it became what you would expect. They slightly liberalized it. They took out a bunch of the more offensive jokes.
I'm new. I just moved here from Africa.
What?
I used to be homeschooled.
Wait, what?
My mom taught me at home.
No, I know what homeschool is. I'm not retarded. So you've actually never been to a real school before?
And they hypersexualized it. So that's essentially the difference between the early 2000s and today. And I could go on and on about the issue with the way we tell our young girls to represent themselves in our world today, that, you know, the way you attract someone is by wearing less and less clothing, and that's where your value is. You're not judged by what you do or your choices or how you carry yourself. Instead, you're judged by, you know, how little clothes you can wear at a time. But I digress. That's a whole nother thing. I'm actually gonna go after something a little bit more philosophical. Near the end, the one chick who's all goth and everything, she starts whining about how the world sucks, and then she breaks into a dance where she proclaims, I'm tired of wanting to be like you guys. I'm gonna be myself. I just want to be me. Oh, me, I'm great. I want to be fully me. And then the song ends when, of course, the one chick gets hit by the school bus, which is a classic. The chick's song about wanting to be herself is actually a gateway drug to subjective morality. See, initially we like stuff like this, and so we need to put up some definitions here. There's a difference between political libertarianism and moral libertarianism. Political libertarianism is the idea that, you know, when it comes to these political issues and how you want to live your life, you are welcome to do what you want, but do not tread on me. Right? So this area where we're allowing each other to have freedom as long as we don't encroach on other people's freedom, which is a perfectly logical philosophy for politics in 99% of cases. However, there's a big difference between political libertarianism and moral libertarianism. C.S. Lewis in Mere Christianity gives a famous metaphor for this, where if we have a fleet of ships and the ships are all our people and we're going somewhere, but we all start going in different directions because the direction is subjective based on each one of our opinions, then we're no longer a fleet of ships, we're a bunch of ships going in random directions, and we're no longer accomplishing a goal. To raise the stakes of the metaphor, libertarian morality would not work in this case. Say you know a guy who has a daughter and a wife, right? And every day he comes home from work and he beats them, and he's abusive, and he's verbally abusive, mentally abusive, physically abusive. He's a horrible, horrible guy. But then when you two go out to the bar later, he's perfectly nice to you, and actually having him in your life is a net positive to you. And the fact that he beats his wife and daughter, that does not affect you. He's not treading on you by doing that. But he's still doing a moral wrong, which is the whole in moral libertarianism. We need to stick up for actual moral beliefs, regardless of whether or not they affect us. And you'll see that in the Lord of the Rings examples later. If you see someone who's doing that, it is your obligation to stand up for the wife and daughter, despite what it might cost to you. Another word for moral libertarianism could easily be moral relativism, which in the philosophy world is like the greatest insult, I think. I don't really know. But when famous philosophers are having a debate over where they can get their morality from, the theists are always accusing the atheists of being moral relativists because they're just essentially making morality up. And the atheists will shoot back and say, why did God kill people in the Bible? So no one wants to be a moral relativist, but we all accuse the other party of being one. But anyway, back to our chick in Mean Girls and why she's wrong in her philosophy of wanting to be herself. Because herself, who she is, actually totally sucks. And I'm not being bigoted because I suck. And you, audience member, you also suck. And it's not hard to tell this. It's hard to justify how exactly you've ever done something that's wrong if you don't believe in the idea that, I don't know, you're sinful. If there isn't a morality that has been violated, I'm curious how you can explain how exactly you ever do something wrong without the concept of some kind of original sin. Otherwise, you should be perfect and never have done anything wrong. After all, your actions are completely within your control. Why do you ever do bad things? But C.S. Lewis famously in Mere Christianity is fully aware that we all do bad things. And so his metaphor is that actually what you want to be doing is not becoming more like you. What you want to do is essentially
Kill yourselves!
not in the literal physical sense. Kill yourself in the sense of getting rid of the bad part of you. The part of you that says, I want to be me and follow my desires and do what serves me. Kill that part of you. C.S. Lewis asserts in Mere Christianity that God created man to be like God, not to be these evil beings. They are designed to strive to be like God, to be like Jesus Christ. And that is actually your purpose. So killing the selfish side of you and becoming more like God's, essentially, more like God, is to kill your bad self and become actually who you are truly supposed to be. Who you are truly supposed to be, the part of you that is you, the more organic, true version of you is not the selfish one that serves himself. It is the version of you that is most like God. Here's another example.
Everybody makes fun of me for getting these, but you're a genius scientist. What do you think? See, there's little R2-D2s where the George Washington should be.
You know, Jerry, I'm not gonna tell you that these will increase in value or even hold their current value. The truth is, you bought them because you like them. They have value to you. That's what matters.
This is a Doofus Rick scene from Rick and Morty. So Doofus Rick, and maybe this is why he's a doofus, he explains to Jerry in this episode that the coins that Jerry bought don't actually have any intrinsic value. They're probably not going to increase in value, but hey, they have value to him, and that's what matters. But again, this is a slippery slope. If value is determined by you, and anything is of value depending on your opinion and how you're feeling that day. So if Jerry is the determiner of value, then morality and value is subjective and determined by Jerry, and thus Jerry is a moral relativist. So the value of the coins cannot be determined by Jerry without him becoming a moral relativist. And the process is circular. The whole thing is, how do you know that you're the judge of morality? How do you know that you're the judge of the value of the coins? Because you said so. I'm gonna give you another example. So Thor in the end of Endgame, and this is why I think Thor's characters are always, his stories just kind of flop a little bit.
It's time for me to be who I am rather than who I'm supposed to be. But you're a leader. That's who you are.
They started substituting the drama in Thor movies for funny, but we still don't really have a lovely character. There's a reason why we like Iron Man more than Thor, because Iron Man made an ultimate sacrifice. He put off his rich self to help others. Thor actually goes on a very selfish, self-serving journey. At the end of Endgame, he says, it's time for me to go be who I am instead of who I'm supposed to be, which is backward, because self-discovery is painfully circular. If you determine your own self-worth, then you control the value, and it's subjective. Thor would actually be better off having his value determined by the people of Asgard and by Valkyrie. Because if he goes off chasing his own value the whole time, he's gonna be running in circles forever and ever and ever. It makes much more sense to actually be in service to someone else, in service to the people of Asgard in this case, and have the people of Asgard determine Thor's value. Now, I'm gonna contrast these characters with The Lord of the Rings, because The Lord of the Rings is the greatest piece of fiction ever written, and there's a reason why all of Tolkien's good guys are vastly more lovable than any of the characters that I've just said before. So Tolkien's evil characters are like the heroes that we just talked about. They're self-serving and they want their own agenda. Evil Sauron wants to enslave the entire world in service to him. He wants everything in existence to be in service to Sauron. That's what he wants. Saruman only follows Sauron and is alliance with him in the Two Towers so that he could eventually stab him in the back and that he can have control. So our two evil characters have the same motivation as Doofus Rick, Jerry, Thor, and our chick in Mean Girls. They want to serve themselves. So why do we like Tolkien's good guys? Well, think about it. Frodo leaves home to save save people he's never met in his life. Theoden leads the charge of Rohan to the aid of Gondor in the Battle of Minas Tirith, even though Gondor did not come to his aid. Completely selfless. Éowyn stands between the Witch King of the Nazgul and Theoden despite her odds of winning. Samwise stands by Frodo despite him casting him aside. Merry and Pippin distract the Uruk-hai so that Frodo can have safe passage through to the boat. Aragorn leads the battle at the Black Gate, the greatest battle in my opinion of the entire series, so that Frodo can make it to Mount Doom, a battle that literally Aragorn is fully aware that he's going to lose. So somewhere deep down, we actually have this altruistic intuition that is totally contrary to our logical mathematical mind. Logically, we should be egoists. We should do things that only serve ourselves because we're the master of our own ship and we're really the only thing that matters because we're not in control of anyone else, so we should only ever do things that serve ourselves. But deep down, we have this weird thing where we liked Tolkien's characters more than we liked Thor, Jerry, and the girl from Mean Girls. Why is that? But somewhere deep down, we know that greater love knows no one than this. So go be selfless in life, learn to love, stop being selfish, and if you can, send me some drugs, boy.